number of people too who say, "Hey, look, then why don't you just join the PBC and you probably get those fights a lot easier?" What do you say to that?
I mean, I'm just going behind what my dad and my team we got going on. And what we got going on is going right. We got big things after this fight.
Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, back to boxing. Nah, man, you guys heard the audio from Jaron Ennis, man. Wild stuff, man. The guy's undefeated, young, rising star in boxing right now, man. The guy, it seems like he's on his way to superstardom, man. Some people are calling this guy the next Roy Jones Jr. The guy is extremely young, only, 24 years old. The guy has 28 wins and 26 knockouts. The guy can fight southpaw or orthodox. He can fight right-handed or left-handed. And man, you guys heard the audio. He's not signed to PBC, man. And this is good news or bad news, depending on how you look at it. Now, the good news is there's a lot of promoters out here who want to pay these fighters big dollars, and they'll do whatever it takes to get these fighters on their platform, and they can match them however they want. Understand that TRLLER and the Zone are known for buying free agent fighters like Mikey Garcia versus Jesse Vargas. That fight happened, and I know Mikey Garcia for a fact was paid a couple of M's for that fight. And I'm not sure how much Jesse Vargas was paid, but if you're the big dog in the division at the time, or you're just a big name, period, they're gonna give you more money than whoever you're fighting, right? So this is a good look for Jaron Boots Ennis, because there's a lot of big dogs at 147 outside of the champions, outside of Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. The Keith One-Time Thurmans are big names. The Danny Garcias are big names. Sean Porter, and the list goes on and on. That all being said, man, Jaron Ennis is in a peculiar position because the guy is a contender / prospect. He's not number one on any belt list yet. He's not number one for the WBA, IBF, WBO, or WBC titles yet. So he's still in the prospect / contender stage. So he can fight a lot of dogs before he finally gets that shot. That being said, there's a lot of mix and matching that can be made. A lot of times these promoters lock these fighters down in contracts, right? Therefore, it's that these fighters really can't get a fight with certain fighters because maybe their promotional companies, their rivals, don't like each other. Jaron Boots Ennis chose the route of, listen, I'm going to be a free agent so I can make these other fights possible with these other fighters. And, that's a double-edged sword, because if a promotion company puts money behind their fighter and you're a free agent and they're trying to get you to fight their guy, the odds are stacked against you, man. The odds are stacked against you. You basically got to knock that guy out to get a W. or you gotta really, really, really beat that guy really bad where they can't really rob you. They may give you a draw at best. So that's the problem with being a free agent. There's no loyalty toward you. They want their guy to win. They're paying money behind their fighter, and they want that guy to win. They really don't want you to win. They're gonna use you as a springboard. So a lot of people, like to be free agents. I think Keith One-Time Thurman is a free agent now. I'm not sure if he's still with a PBC, but he was talking about he wants to fight Terrence Bud Crawford and for Bob Arum to sign him. That being said, doesn't look like that's gonna happen anytime soon. So yeah, Jaron Ennis, man, he's looking like a free agent. I would like to see him if he's not gonna be with PBC. Obviously, Terrence Bud Crawford's talking about leaving the Top Rank, right? Teddy Atlas already reported that, the chances are that when Sean Porter and Terrence Crawford fight, after that fight, Terrence Crawford is going to leave Top Rank. Everyone, that's basically common knowledge at this point. Everyone's already talking about it, and thank God, man. I was tired of Terrence Crawford being over there with Top Rank. I mean, it was good. It was a good show. He got all the W's he can get, and now he can move on to bigger and better things. But, he had to do what he had to do. They had something to offer him over there, and that was beating Jeff Horn, the guy who beat Manny Pacquiao. But now the guy who beat Manny Pacquiao, the WBA champion right now, Eugenio Ugas, is at the PBC. So, Terrence Crawford has been chasing Manny Pacquiao, and if he can get Pacquiao, he can get the next big thing, the guy who beat Pacquiao. So, Jaron Boots Ennis, man, he's a free agent. He's trying to fight whoever, and one big fight that people are talking about is him versus Virgil Ortiz. And if actually Virgil Ortiz wanted to get a fight with Jaron Ennis, if Virgil Ortiz really wants all the advantages he can really get, he needs to fight Ennis while he's a free agent instead of having a full-blown promotion company behind him. Because if he does that, it's going to be a long hill for Jaron Ennis to really, he's going to have to stop Virgil Ortiz. You know, Oscar De La Hoya has been known to, you know, his platform, his base is a Hispanic base, a Mexican base. So he's going to want his guy to win. Jaron Boots Ennis, you know, he needs to fuck with the PBC because their core audience are black people, black Americans, you know. So that's where they're going for. That being said, I mean, I guess they're dipping their toes in the Hispanic audience with Canelo Alvarez. They just signed him recently. So Al-Haim basically has a monopoly at this point, and it seems like a fait accompli, like he's going to get Terrence Crawford as well. And if he gets Terrence Crawford, man, I mean, I don't see why anyone else would go to anywhere else besides PBC, because they got all the big dogs, man, all the big dogs, right? So Jaron Boots Ennis, man, you know, one of the most elusive fighters at 147 since Terrence Crawford. And this guy's a natural welterweight. He's not coming up 3 weight classes. This is a big, natural, long welterweight. Earlier I was talking about how elusive Jaron Boots Ennis is. The guy's actually really long as well. And I compared him to Roy Jones Jr. for a reason, because he actually has like a similar dynamics as Roy Jones Jr. You know, Jaron Boots Ennis is 5'10", Roy Jones Jr. is 5'11". Jaron Boots Ennis has a 74-inch reach advantage with his arm length, and Roy Jones Jr. has a 74-inch reach advantage with his arm length as well. So there's a lot of similar dynamics, not just in styles, but height and reach of both these fighters, which is wild stuff. And believe it or not, you know, you're not done growing when you're 24. You're gonna get bigger when you get a little bit older. You know, I can see Jaron Boots Ennis definitely gaining an inch or two throughout the rest of his career, just because he's gonna be gaining weight, and the guy's gonna be a millionaire soon. He's gonna be eating, you know, healthy, lean, A1 food, you know, Chef Ramsay type food, you know. So, you know, I can see Jaron Boots Ennis at least going up in his future to like 168, 175 area. And, you know, the sky's the limit to the guy. The sky's the limit. He's been beating top fighters. And, you know, one fighter that was a really good fight for him, that was a shocking win, was Sergey Lipinets. You know, he beat Lipinets, and no one really looks good beating him, right? The only time I really seen Lipinets beat, and his most lopsided loss, I think, was the Mikey Garcia loss. You know, but when Jaron Boots Ennis fought him, he completely destroyed the guy. Completely destroyed him. And so, you know, we're going to see how this whole thing plays out with my boy, Jaron Boots Ennis. Understand that he was the first one to stop Sergey Lipinets. That was his only knockout loss. Besides that, Jaron Boots Ennis, Sergey Lipinets has never been stopped. So that was a big statement, you know, big statement indeed. So let me know how you guys feel about it, though. If you guys want Boots to sign to Al-Haim, because that's where basically all the fighters are at, and it seems as though Al-Haim does let fighters who aren't signed fight underneath him more often than promoting companies who don't actually sign fighters. You know, that seems like more the lick, and he can get more fights that way. Wild stuff, man. Wild stuff. Let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. GeoBoxing Empire, bitch. GeoBoxing Empire.